Hello, my friends. Rachel Archelaus momentarily, but will be Intimate Alien for most of this call. Carrie Roldan, your business BFF. And we're here today to talk about happiness. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be fantastic. Hello, Gina Maria. Hello, Guillaume. Thanks, everybody else, for being here. As always, we're here to collaborate with you. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. We'll be happy to highlight them, talk about any aspects of happiness that you are wanting more clarity on from Intimate Alien's point of view. She's really unique in that we were just on a call with her in our coaching group. Link is in the email I sent you all today. And she went places that I wasn't anticipating. Like, I just love listening to her because it's so fluid and she just has such a different experience, but also an earthly experience through me. So I just love it. So I don't know where we're going to go today necessarily, but it's going to be a ride.
I just want to share something from our call today. A little insider thing that happened with Intimate Alien. Rachel sneezed, and someone on the call said, "Well, what does it feel like to you, Intimate Alien, when Rachel sneezes?" And she's like, "Yeah, I leave that to Rachel. I don't know what it feels like." I thought that was the best.
Yeah, she loves being here in the sense that she gets to play, but what goes on in my body, she has no interest in whatsoever.
I just thought that she was like, "Well, I don't have a body and I don't care to be in one." Like, I was like, "All right." Yeah. Well, I'm excited to talk happiness with Intimate Alien. Um, always, because I feel like I've had this conversation with Intimate Alien so many times. And I know, probably like a lot of you guys, every time she speaks, I get something new or I feel it in a new way. Um, Rachel, you froze on my screen, so now I'm wondering if I'm frozen on your screen. Hello.
Maybe StreamYard is having an issue.
Well, I can't tell if I'm live.
We lost Carrie. There you are.
And I was just saying I lost you. I was like, I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, well, we'll just do our best. Let's bring Intimate Alien on and see what happens.
All right. Yes. Hi. We are here. And you are looking beautiful, Carrie. We are just feeling everyone. You all feel so wonderful today. And we are happy to be with you. So, were you telling a story, Carrie? Were you saying something before?
Well, I was talking about you behind your back.
Oh.
I was saying that Rachel sneezed on our call today, and you didn't want to have any part of her sneezing.
It's none of my business, really. Yes. So, hi. Hello, Guillaume. We are seeing you. Okay, well, we are here today to speak about happiness and whatever you want to add, Carrie or everyone else. So we'll take it from you, but is there anywhere you want to start today?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. So it is around I'll be happy when. I thought that would be a
Oh,
good place to start.
yes. Why are you depriving yourself of happiness? That is why what I would say to that.
So, um, that's a great question. And I feel like so many of us feel like I have a level of happiness now. I feel pretty good about things and how they're going. But oh, I'm going to feel so much happier when whatever desired result happens to us, for us. I feel like I know what you're going to say about this, but I want to hear it anyways.
Well, we are going to ask you a question. Has that been your experience in the past? Are you that much happier when you get the thing?
Great question. I'm going to let us like process that for a minute. I will tell you, yes and no. So there is like I think about in terms of like setting a goal, working toward that goal for weeks or months or years, finally accomplishing that goal. There is a sense of happiness, elation, pride, excitement, um, satisfaction that comes in accomplishing that goal. But in terms of like base level of happiness, overall happiness or fulfillment in life, um, does getting the thing make you happier or make me happier? No. And I know that like I have had things in my life where I'll recognize like I'll be happier when this happens or my life will be better when that happens. And my life is better now that those things have happened. But if I'm really honest with myself, it probably got better before those things happened. So it's more of a noticing than anything else.
Yeah. So that's really the thing. If you examine your life, you can notice that you are happy in moments when you have very little, but you can also be happy in moments when you have what you wanted. So, what is happiness tied to? Is it tied to things? Is it tied to accomplishment? Is it tied to achievement? No, it's not tied to that. You can experience happiness there, but it's not connected, right? They can flow together, but it's not tied. So, who is in charge of happiness? How do you supply yourself happiness? That has to come from you allowing yourself to be happy regardless of the circumstances. So, in that way, instead of happiness going like this, it can go like this. So, you can be happy regardless of what is happening in your outer life. If you take domain of your inner life, you get to choose what you feel at any given time. And you know what that also does? That also makes you a better magnet to what you want. So if you want more of what you really want, be happy more of the time. Right? Ease is easy.
And let your vibration do the work.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted you guys to hear that for a second. So I wrote down two of what you two quotes, but then you said, if you really want what you want, be happy more of the time. That is something to really recognize. Oh gosh. If I really want what I want, I need to let my vibration do the work. I need to choose happiness more of the time. If I, right? Because my belief is that when I get what I want, I'll be happier. So, um, yeah, I wrote down two things that you said. These are for all of you watching and paying attention, which, by the way, please leave us your questions and comments in the chat. I see Gina, Marina, and Guillaume are here. My expectation is there's probably several more of you here not commenting yet. So say hello. But you said allow yourself to be happy regardless of your circumstances. And I felt I don't feel like this was my own resistance. I feel like I am tapped in to the resistance in the crowd, but it very well could be my own. Uh, kind of saying, but how can I be happy when my circumstances are so dire? Right? Like, how can I be happy when I look around and all I see is catastrophe and debt and people not treating me well and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then you said you get to choose what you feel at any given time. Do you want to say more about that?
We have heard in the past that that is a controversial statement, right? So maybe it doesn't appear as if you have the choice because you're nowhere near yourself. if you are spread all over the place, if your energy is dissipated and not contained, if you are not embodied, if you are not in touch with yourself, then you don't have a choice. We get it. You don't. But if you have practiced any kind of meditation or self-reflection or embodiment practice or movement or integration, there's so many ways you can do it. If you have done that, if you've been in the moment at any point, then you have had choice. Maybe you have choice right now. That gives you power to not only decide how you feel, but to decide what your life will look like. Because your circumstances are created by your inner self, your inner vibrational set points. So if you want to master happiness, but if you also want to master your life, find you, bring yourself back in, put yourself in the container that you were born to have, and choose your feelings, choose to be your truth, choose to not succumb to others' will. There is no assertion on your planet. Others cannot strong-arm you without your consent. That is a whole big topic, right? There are assaults on your world. There are terrible things that people do to each other. We're not going to go into that. But I want you to just, from your seat where you are sitting right now, do you have the choice to be embodied? Do you have the choice to choose how you feel? You do. And that will change your outer world. And it's worthwhile to do. What's the difference between being imprisoned and being free? Choice. Choice. So choice is a privilege, right? Choice is everything. It's what makes you autonomous. It's what gives you all different lives. And so it's not something to take for granted if you have the option, right?
So I feel so number one, hello to those of you who just have joined and are saying hi. I see you, Dale. I see you, Corinne. And what you said this, you said, if you're not embodied, then you don't have a choice. But if you've ever been present, if you've ever meditated, you kind of gave a list of examples. You said, find you, put yourself back in, and choose to be your truth. But I'm wondering if you could help us. I feel like embodiment is such a tricky issue for so many people, and it feels so connected to happiness. My experience of you, Intimate Alien, is that for most of the time you are disembodied, and for all of the time you embody, in air quotes, happiness. So can you talk to us about embodiment?
Okay. So we're all familiar with there being different dimensions, right? Where I come from, we live in a dimension where there is no physicality, but that doesn't mean I don't have a structure, right? What keeps me, a ball of gas, from seeping into the world around me, which is also a ball of gas, right? There's an energetic structure to me. What you consider crystalline, right? A crystalline structure. Rachel had something around here. This has been shaped, right? But inside is a crystalline structure. This has been carved, but this is a crystalline structure. So your energy can also have patterns, right? That is what a crystalline structure is. It is patterns. So I have patterns of energy where I live that keeps me separate from the other gas that I live in. And what keeps source coherent, structure, right? What keeps your cells together, structure, right? Your atomic breakdown, it's just structures. Bonds that keep molecules together are structure, right? Your building blocks are what you're made of. Well, that goes for your energy too. So you've heard of the aura. It's just layers of energy, right? And so you can fit into your energetic structure. It's not a limitation at all. It's actually an amplification, right? An amplification is a little crystal shaving, a dust more powerful than the actual structured crystal itself? No, right? The actual structure is stronger than the shaving of the little parts that can go anywhere, right? You are the same. So there are places you can find information on your energetic structure, sometimes called the Merkaba, sometimes Jim Self has programs to help you. There are books. You can probably look it up online. You can go at it from the intention to build it, through programs, learning, or you can do it through meditation. You can do it through making choices. You can do it through knowing your preferences. You can do it by any of the things that they speak on in the Aligned Up level, Rachel and Carrie are in her groups. You can do it through what I suggest to you in these calls. It makes itself when you see and be yourself. It happens automatically as you bring more of your higher self energy to you here, to this point of focus that you are right now. It happens. So what is embodiment? It is being structured in your energy on this physical planet. That's what embodiment is. You are putting your water into a pitcher, okay? You have the masculine structure and the flowing feminine energy, the water. So both make a more powerful unit. Does that make sense?
It's making me yawn.
Great.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I'm hopeful it's landing with you guys. I have a question now because this came up. This is not quite a happiness question, but it's related. It did come up on our intimate alien call. Someone asked you, how do you see energy? And your answer was like, how do I not see energy? It's everywhere. But when you were speaking of the structure and the picture, right? So do each of us have an inherent structure that is us, or does our structure change based on where we are energetically?
Great question. A little of both. It's mostly unchanging, as you are, right? You can look back to your childhood and I'm the same person I was then, right? Little things have changed. Your structure doesn't change very much, but it does adapt. Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I have questions. I really want to know if you guys have questions, but actually, I have an idea, Intimate Alien. And I always feel a little strange asking for these things live on the call, but I'm going to do it anyway. And you can feel free to say no. I want to know what the people who are watching, so we can call them out individually or we could do it as a whole, right? What can Guillaume do? Or what can Dale do? Or what can Gina Maria do? Or what can Corinne do to bring more happiness specifically to them?
Okay. Yes. So we want to bring this together with something else that we spoke about recently. When we were speaking on purpose, we mentioned that your preferences are your purpose, right? Well, your preferences are how you are happy on this planet, right? You taking a stand for your preferences is how you experience joy on this planet, right? Listen to the song that you want to listen to versus listening to what someone else wants to listen to. Eating the food that brings you joy instead of eating the food that is just out there for anyone, right? Those things make a big difference. And your preferences are your truth, which comes from inside of you. So I just want to bring all of this together and that you can become more embodied and structured and resilient and baseline much happier by living your preferences. Let's talk about the structure a little bit more because it's so important. How much defense does this water have against the environment if I took away the cup? If I took this cup away and I just spread it all over, this water has no choice. It's going to touch the keyboard. It's going to touch the hairbrush. It's going to touch the makeup. It's going to get on the carpet. It's going to flow wherever gravity will take it, right? That is like you if you are going through life without your structure, right? You have no choice. You're just slamming into whatever's there. The news is on, the bad news is over there. The annoying friend calls you. You're time crunched. You stepped on some dog poop, right? Whatever's in your world, you're going to find because you're just all over the place. But this water has choice as to where it goes because it has a defense, right? It has a wall. It has structure. So live your preferences. You get to choose how your life is lived, right? You also have a say in where you go. That creates happiness. You also have room between you and your neighbor. How many times have you been in a conversation that you did not want to be in, but you didn't have anything to say to them? There was no way to cut them off. There was no way to leave. When you have your structure there, there's always a space for you to be you and to say, excuse me, I need to leave now. This is so important, right? And so if you want to be happy, you need to not be at the will of the world, right? You need to have you need to be confident and secure and stable inside of you. So that way, what the world thinks does not matter to you, right? You are happy here. You are happy here. What the world is doing is none of your business. That is just so big for you all, right? Yes. Okay. So that is what you can do to be happier. You can develop yourself in your world, in your moment, so that you matter. What you think is the only thing that is in your line of choice.
There's a yes and here. So one, like, yes, 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 yes. And I've experienced this so many times, this feeling confident and secure and stable inside of me. And I've experienced like watching things happen around me that other people are kind of like you need to freak out about this or you should be worried about it, and I'm just not, right? Because I'm like in my own container feeling good, knowing everything's going to work out. So I've had that experience of that feeling confidence and secure and stable inside of me and relaxed and having that baseline happiness, like, yes, yes. And um I also have had the experience of knowing that that's how I want to feel, saying, well, that doesn't really matter, or what other people think of me is none of my business, or like all of that. But not feeling fully embodied, knowing that full embodiment is the solution, and being affected by the outside world. So if I'm following your logic, right, my next move is to find what feels good, right? Find some form of feeling happy. So that's my next question.
Well, we
Um,
would say really to find yourself.
Wait, can you say that again? You broke up.
Yes, so find what feels happy, sure, but find yourself. Get in the moment, right? Get in your body, get in your head. That would be our first suggestion.
That's such a helpful step. And it's one, as you guys can tell, like I often skip. When you say get in your head, I'm actually quite good at being in my head, but it's not the way you mean it.
No, yes, we are meaning taking domain over your head, getting in the center of your head. Because as you are saying, other things live there if you are not there.
Yes. Okay, so good because I'm thinking about my own patterns, and I'm very deliberate about being in my body um at specific times during the day, but that idea of when I feel conflicted, like finding that moment to be in my body, that is a new practice. So thank you. Dale asks a question, which is what of shared happiness? Hold on, there's something on my screen that I can't see. I think she said feel magnified, how to experience that more. So, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, so shared happiness, it's not really shared. You're independently feeling it, right? But yes, when you are on the same wavelength individually with someone else, there is magic, right? Magic. So, how to experience that more? First, because it is an independent feeling, you must be able to access happiness yourself. The more you are happy, the more other people have an opportunity to match you, right? So that's all there is to it, really, is if you find your place of being happy, then the world has an opportunity to match you with other people that are happy to share. So it always comes down to you first.
Doesn't it always though? And there was something in me when and Gina Maria will get to your question, but there's something in me that felt a little sad and disappointed. I knew what you were going to say, right? About like there's no such thing as shared happiness. There's just you and matching the vibration of the people around you. But also that kind of bumps me out a little bit, right? Is this thing that we're feeling, this connection that we're feeling with other people, is that not real?
We just mean that it's the same with love, right? You think that when someone is loving you and you are feeling love, that you are feeling their love, but you are not. You are feeling your love. So you you are all the same being in a sense, right? So everything is shared. But as you are focused here in these physical bodies, you are separate beings with your own connection to source, and you are your own generators, right? This person cannot generate for you. under any circumstance. But you can feel similar vibrations and then compare and connect. Of course you can. Of course. But isn't that better? Because what if then this person was having the most terrible day ever and wanted to share with you and was able to give you that? Well, that would be nonsense. That would be terrible. So it's really for your own good that you are your own generators. And you still get to have that experience of looking at each other while you're both generating your own feeling. That there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yes, you're leading me down a different path, so I'm gonna try and stay focused here, because yeah, I got some more questions. But let's go to Gina Maria's question first, which is getting in the center of your head. Does that mean focused?
Well, yes, it does mean focused, but it also means that you are inhabiting that space. So this is a term Rachel learned from Jim Self of masteringalchemy.com. They have many free tools on their website and their YouTube channel, so check it out. Very worthwhile. But really, it's so much about taking control of yourself. We could go on, but it's a magical, we keep saying magical. You are all magical creatures. And when you can engage with the body that you created, you're unstoppable pleasure feeling machines and creating masterpieces.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get to Dale's question and then I might go back to mine. She says, maybe that's something else I wish to welcome. More same high wavelength delight with others.
Yes, that's a wonderful thing to welcome in, right? So first, you need to be on that high wavelength yourself, and then practice the belief that there are others out there who are wanting to feel that way too in communion, and they will show up for you. They are here right now, right?
And that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing, which is I heard what you were saying when you took your two things and you said this one can't influence this one and this one, or maybe influence isn't the right word, can't like pour into this one. But I feel like I can. I feel like I do. And so like that's one of the like joys that I have in my life. That is something that makes me feel happy, is coming into a room and being the dominant joyful vibration and watching as others come and join me where I am.
Well, you said it correctly the first time. You can influence, but you cannot assert. And it is a joy to be able to influence, but it is a burden to be able to assert, because you cannot give another happiness, right? You don't want that power, right? Just like, do all healers help everyone? No, not everyone accepts the influence of the healing energy, right? So that is why everything is so personal and individual, is because each unit of you get to choose whether or not you adjust your vibration to match that of the healing or the happiness or the comedy, whatever it is.
Well, that was my next question. When you were I'm guessing you already knew that, but when you were holding up your two things, that's what I was thinking, is like, but what about healers? What about people who, they can lay their hands on people and things change on the cellular level? But what I hear you saying is the person who's wanting to be healed must want to be healed.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good stuff. Well, I don't know about you, intimate alien. You probably always feel happy, but I am feeling a little happier now than when we started this conversation. And that's actually a question that I often ask the people who I coach is, um, and I actually learned this from Rachel. She would say, what's the best feeling you can feel right now? What is the best feeling you have access to right now? And one of the things that I like to do when people give me the words for that, like if they say, I can feel right now, I have access to, I can feel happy. And then I'll ask them, what does that feel like? Right? What does it feel like? I love words. And so maybe that is a me thing. But I love what the things that they use to describe what happiness feels like. Sometimes they paint a picture, sometimes they just have more descriptive words. Um, but I really, really love that. And just through the course of this conversation, I think that that is what I've been doing is just accessing all the different ways happiness feels inside of me. Knowing that when I'm feeling that, I am aligning with the structure, I am pouring more of myself into me, that I am becoming more embodied.
You are allowing yourself to be, right? You've given yourself the environment that lets you just be. Just like this water is not trying to do anything, but it has a structure to let it just be water, right? As opposed to getting, absorbed into all these other surfaces and mixed with makeup and things. Yes, because your true being is radiant and jubilant and very happy. So when you can create the environment where you just get to pour yourself in and be, oh, it's a wonderful feeling, right?
It really is. So where to now?
Well, let's see. Rachel Rachel was a little bit worried about the title of this video because it's very assertive to her. And she was thinking that we would speak about, well, you don't have to be happy all the time. And in fact, you won't be. But a large part of mastering happiness is not judging yourself for where you are. So, what happens if you are in the moment, in your body, and things come along that you do not like, or you start to lose a little bit and you feel not happy? What do? Well, judging yourself for feeling bad, judging yourself for being able to do something better, judging yourself for maybe missing something or letting something in that you didn't want, or disregarding your intuition and letting something happen that was not to your liking. How can you just accept that and move on without beating yourself up, right? You just do it, right? Our suggestion is to remind yourself that you're here to experience it all. Happiness includes making mistakes. Happiness includes knowing that things aren't going to be perfect all the time. That takes a lot of pressure away from you, right? You can make mistakes. You can find yourself in a hole, and you can be perfectly fine as well. So, lightening up, let it be okay that you'll get into sticky situations now and then. That's part of this. It's part of seeing something you don't like, and instead of going, oh no, I shouldn't have done that, that was terrible, I should do better next time, just being, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. It's okay. It's okay to keep going. It's okay to still love myself even though I made a mistake. It's okay for me to still desire and know that I'm worthy of what I want even though I made a mistake. That's all okay.
There's something very human that says, in order to really feel the happiness or the joy or the satisfaction or the good stuff, you also have to really feel the bad stuff. Is that true?
Of course not. No. But there is something to contrast, right? Does a happy baby not know what happiness feels like just because it hasn't been left outside in the rain? Like that is an absurd thing to say. But we understand it in terms of contrast can help you perhaps be more appreciative. It can enhance the difference, but of course you can be happy without not feeling very unhappy.
I feel like you're reading my mind right now because the next question I had was, what's the role of appreciation or gratitude in all of this?
Well, appreciation is a natural state for you as well. You know, you are just wanting to feel good. And appreciation is just a witnessing of what makes you feel good, right? It's an observing, it's a being with. Appreciation is an intimate connection, right? We are feeling into this now, and really, there is no difference between appreciation and happiness. It's the same vibration. So, appreciation is just a way to perceive in your mind.
So I love this so much, and I feel like maybe our audience already knows this, or maybe they're already there. But I'm thinking when you said appreciation is your natural state, I was like, oh my gosh, for so many, it's not, right? For so many, or it's not their human state, right? For so many, it's it is looking around and finding things to complain about or to be critical of or to, which is why so many people say have a gratitude journal or have an appreciation journal or make it a practice to find 10 things a day to appreciate. I 1000% understand how easy it is to appreciate once we do that, but I'm wondering, why is it so hard for so many?
Because they are not in themselves. They're not in the center of their head. There are all kinds of other people with expectations and judgments and admonishings that are in there, right? So they aren't living in themselves. They're letting other people live in themselves. So that's why getting embodied, getting that structure up is so important.
Oh, that gave me a yawn. It made me think of some work we're doing inside of another group that I'm a part of, and um, we just had a speaker come talk about imposter syndrome. And without going into too much detail, like a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to this idea of imposter syndrome. Like, there's this thing inside of me that I want to do that feels so good. I'll be happy when that happens. And who am I to believe that it could happen? Who am I? And what you just said, how about there's lots of voices in here. There's lots of um just made me so clearly understand that becoming embodied is also about recognizing which voices are yours
Yes.
and which voices belong to the imposter or the imposters.
And kicking them out. Yes.
Yes. She had a fun activity, which was to give them a name, and we gave them funny names, like, well, I hate to say funny names because someone might be named the funny name, but like Murgatroyd or um, Mildred or something like that was helpful.
So we will say that that is a wonderful thing to do, but unless you put up the gate, they will come back, right?
Yes. The yawns are always really good, so thank you, for the yawns, and guys in the chat, I really appreciate you today. Um, Gina Maria is saying appreciation is an augmenter of happiness, but I don't think so. Um, I like what you said before that they're the same. Appreciation is like it it feels like an active doorway to happiness, which feels like more of a passive thing. So yeah, I guess maybe in our human understanding, it's something we can actively do in order to
Yes, it's
feel.
like a verb form of the noun, right? It's like
Yeah,
you can feel love, but you can also show love. You can shower love. You can be loving, right? But it's all love.
about that, about sharing love or sharing happiness. There's just something else that wants to come out there, and I don't have the words for it just yet. So it's this. There's people say like you can't give from an empty cup. You want to give from the overflow. And there's something in me that really wants to believe, right, that as my cup is so full, that I am so full of myself, which this is something that Rachel and I do on the aligned up level, is helping people fill up with themselves, like literally fill their own cup.
Yes.
there. Um, but I want to hang on to the belief that as I have this very, very full cup, I think what I hear you saying, Intimate Alien, is that as my cup becomes full, my structure just becomes bigger. That is that true that I'd be able to.
Well, let's say it becomes more dense. That's a way to say it. It can become bigger, but density really. Just think about a very diffuse light bulb, right, with a shade on it, and then like a lighthouse with the big beaming light that goes out.
Okay. So if we're using that example, I want to be the lighthouse with the big beaming light going out. But I do want to believe I can pour into others. I do want, like, there's something that my brain doesn't want to let go of. I understand the autonomy thing, but I do want to shine the light on other people. I want to beam my happiness laser beam straight into their heart and have it activate their happiness laser beam and have that go out and activate more happiness laser beam.
Yes, well, that is a possibility. You just can't feel for them, right? So you can shine your light on them and they can see that and feel themselves come to life because of your action, because of your energy. But they're the ones turning their light on. And then, of course, they can do that as well. So, yes, that's why you're here in a physical form. It's not, you're not here on this planet alone, right? You're interdependent in that way. You are here to bump into each other, to shine your light for each other, right? But it's just, you can't take the connection away from them, the responsibility that they have for themselves away from them, because that's just, it's, that's not what you want. You don't want to be empowering, disempowering, right? You want to be empowering. And you do that by being in your own space and shining and letting them choose whether or not they are activated.
Yeah, you just made it really clear to me, so thank you. And the example that came to mind was about like parents who want to make their kids happy by like showering them with gifts or doing like they're doing things thinking this will make you happy, this will make you happy. Um, when it may or may not be doing that. So that even though you didn't say that, that was the example that came to me that made it clear like, "Oh, yes. Okay. I understand that." I just want it to be I know part of my purpose is to shine my light and to activate the light in other people, and that brings me so much joy. But if my light would like this was super clear to me, so thank you. If my light was like not letting them, so something happened a long time ago with my children. Let me just tell a personal story here, people. My daughter Chase was saving money. She was pretty young. She was like 6, and maybe, yeah, she was like 6, and she was saving up money to buy a KitchenAid mixer. So I mean, that's just that's a little weird for a 6-year-old to want a kitchen appliance, but that's all she wanted for Christmas, and she was saving her money for it, and, I coulda just bought her the KitchenAid mixer, but I so wanted her to have that joy of saving for something that she really wanted, and of course, where was the money? She's 6, what is she gonna do for the money? Like, it was coming to her in all the fun ways that we could get it to come to her, but I wanted her to be able to have that experience of, um, saving for something and then being able to get it. Like, I wanted her to have that satisfaction. Um, but my mother-in-law found out that she really wanted it, and I think I had told her, Chase is saving for it, and she thought that the loving thing to do would be just to buy it for her. And I remember feeling so angry at my mother-in-law, like, "How could you rob my child of that joy? How could you take that experience from my child?" But the truth was my kid was just really happy to get the mixer. Like, she was going to get it either way. But I remember, like, being so irritated at my mother-in-law for robbing my child of the joy, of the happiness, of the satisfaction of having done it, when really, like, she was just thrilled to get it. So,
And you see how your child manifested what they wanted, regardless of your will, right?
yes. Yes.
Yes, we are all very powerful creators in our own rights. We will find a way to get what we want if we are willing to allow it.
Yes. And kids are really willing to allow it.
Yes.
Yeah, that brings me to I know we're almost at time, but that brings me to the whole Santa Claus thing. Like, I think that's so cool that, like, that's that's a way that kids have figured out how to bring things that they want to them.
Yes.
Corinne has a comment. She says, "Love that. Happiness is the choice. We are the ones reaching out to the other with our bright light." Hmm.
Well, this was very fun. Very fun. Very fun topic. We appreciated it. Thank you, everyone.
Would you, Intimate Alien, would you like to bring Rachel back, or are we just headed
Sure,
out?
we can. Yes. Thank you all. We love you.
We love you too, always.
Okay. It's so funny. I've been kind of yawning along with you, and Intimate Alien wasn't having it. She was smiling through the yawns.
She was like, "There's this physical body thing again. We're not doing it, Rachel."
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're so welcome, everybody. She loves it.
Yeah, so, just now you've been observing this whole time, Rachel. Anything hit you as new?
Ah, you know, I just I think it's interesting how I don't know, my brain is still like blah blah blah. Yeah, there was new stuff today, earlier and now, and I just think it's so important to be so close to ourselves because we only have this life here right now. Of course, we can have as many as we want, but like we're here for us first, right? Like I'm here for me first. And so making myself happy, choosing the things that make me happy, even if it's ridiculous to the rest of the world, who cares? And having that buffer, that safe zone for me to experience myself and play around and experiment, like that's really important, you know? I really love that. As someone who dresses up as an alien for part of her job, that's really important.
would say that, well, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like you dress up as an alien as much as the alien dresses you up.
Yeah, that's true. But I am part of the alien, so I get dressed up somehow. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, all right. Well, this was really good for me. I wrote down so many intimate alienisms today. Um, but this I don't this idea that your energy has a crystalline structure and that your energetic structure is an amplification. Like this is all stuff that has been said like in our world, but it hit different today. So that
Nice.
was my kind of takeaway is like, oh, around that. Yeah, that really hit me differently today. And then um well, and then this idea that I am both the structure and the water.
Mm.
That was
Isn't that beautiful?
yeah.
I love that. I mean, because water is structured too, right? H2O. Like,
Yep.
yeah, so cool.
But you Intimate Alien talked about it like as masculine and feminine and
Hmm.
yeah, it just it made me I felt that differently today. I loved the reminder that our preferences are our truth. I feel like I can't hear that enough. Our preferences are our truth.
Oh, and I do. This is for Jane. Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Jane is here or not, but she was somebody. Oh, and Jamie were bringing up the idea of how do you not have compromises in a relationship? And Eric and I just got a new car. And let me tell you, it is the perfect synchronicity of everything I want and everything he wanted. And we never thought that was possible. I'm like a either like camper van girl or a sports car girl. Like I like those two things, and I've had those two things. That's what I want. I want a fast car. Even my camper vans are like, 8-cylinder, 6-cylinder, like Speedy Gonzalez. And um I've never cared about electric cars. I don't like slow, dinky, economical cars. I just don't. But we both needed a new car, and we decided to get one because we don't need two cars. He takes the train to work, etc. So we bought a new car, and we found a fast, incredibly cool looking spaceship of a car. It's roomy, it's electric. We have solar, so it's like all basically powered for free now. I mean, it's so cool. We both love it. It's the first car he's ever loved. And it was way more expensive than he wanted to spend. But I was like, yeah, let's just get the car we actually want. And so we got a car that lights both of us up for the same and different reasons. And we didn't have to compromise. No compromise needed. So when you are strong in yourself, and there was no bullying going back and forth, it happened naturally. You get what you want, even if someone else maybe seemingly at the start doesn't want what you want. Or there's a way for you to get what you want anyway. So yeah, it's not a Prius. No, it's a Hyundai Ioniq 5.
And Rachel's been talking about this for a while. I saw one of those in the wild. So when I ran by, I was like, when it went by, I was like, oh, I gotta tell Rachel. All right, we're at 12:29. I am so grateful for today's conversation, both conversations with Intimate Alien. So guys, on the days that Intimate Alien is here, beforehand, she is live inside of our group, which is always powerful, uplifting, mind-blowing, and personal in a way that this is not. So if that's something that you would like more of, you want to be a part of, Rachel just put the link in the comments, intuitiveart.com/membership. Come check us out. It is a high vibe place to be. And just being there, honestly, like just being there creates a lifted vibration, a lifted momentum in your life. All right.
Thanks, everybody. I love these days. I love these topics. I love being with you all. And Carrie, you're just such an amazing co-host in person. I love spending time with you. And we'll see you all next week. Okay.
Right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.